Hello everyone and welcome back to the second official match of Paul Morphy against Daniel Harrwitz, and this game was played on September 7 in 1858 in Paris. So Daniel Harrwitz is leading with 1 against Paul Morphy. So maybe Paul Morphy needs to defeat Harrwitz as soon as possible before it gets too late, and this time Daniel Harrwitz is playing with the white pieces. In the previous game, Paul Morphy was the player who played with the white pieces. So in the series of matches, Harrwitz is leading with 1 point. And he has the confidence. He was making fun with Paul Morphy. After defeating Paul Morphy for the second time, the first game was a casual game and the second game was the official game. And he defeated Morphy 2 times in a row. Is he going to do for the third time? We are going to see. So Harrwitz, who has the white pieces, starts the game with playing d4, e6, c4, d5, knight to c3, knight to f6, queen's gambit declined by Paul Morphy, bishop to f4 by Harrwitz, a6, e3, c5, knight to f3, knight to c6, a3, c takes on d4, e takes on d4, d takes on c4, bishop takes on c4, b5 by Paul Morphy, bishop to d3, bishop to b7, and Daniel Harrwitz castled, bishop to e7, bishop to e5. Also Paul Morphy castled, queen to e2, knight to d5, bishop to g3, king to h8, rook from f to e1, bishop to f6, queen to e4, threatening checkmate. Paul Morphy is defending with g6, knight takes on d5, queen takes on d5, queen takes queen, e takes on d5. Both players are simplifying the game. Knight to e5, rook from a to d8, knight takes knight, bishop takes on c6, rook from a to c1, attacking the bishop, defending, bishop to d6, attacking the rook, rook to g8, bishop to e5. And in this position, Paul Morphy played king to g7. And interestingly, one of the witnesses of this match was Lowenthal, the previous opponent of Paul Morphy. Paul Morphy, as you know, eliminated Lowenthal after hard-fought battles, and Lowenthal was witnessing this game and he was taking notes. And in this position, Lowenthal stated that after playing king to g7, Paul Morphy played the wrong move. Capturing the bishop was the better move for Lowenthal. Also, Lowenthal added that Morphy was not playing as brilliant as he was most of the time. He said something happened to Paul Morphy. He was not playing brilliantly. He was not making his brilliant moves. So Lowenthal realized that Paul Morphy was not playing flawless. Something was wrong in those 2 games against Harrwitz, and still in the third game, something was wrong. Morphy was making weak moves. So anyway, after king to g7, we have f4, solidifying the position by Harrwitz. So bishop takes bishop, rook takes on e5, and this position is better for black. So we have king to g7 by Paul Morphy, f4, bishop to d7, king to f2, h6, king to e3, rook takes rook, rook takes rook, rook to c8, rook to c5, bishop takes bishop, f takes on e5, bishop to e6, a4, b takes on a4, bishop takes on a6, rook to b8 by Paul Morphy, attacking the pawn, easily defending and offering for exchanging the rooks, rook to d8 by Paul Morphy, rook to b6, rook to a8, king to d2, bishop to c8, exchanging the bishops, rook to b5. How to defend the pawn? Well, actually, the pawns of Paul Morphy is looking very weak. Paul Morphy decided to defend the a-pawn, and Harrwitz captures on d5, a3, b takes on a3, rook takes on a3. Harrwitz is a pawn up. Paul Morphy is losing. Once again, rook to c5, and these pawns in the middle, in the center of the board, is not looking good for black. For Paul Morphy, Paul Morphy is in trouble. We have king to f8 by Paul Morphy, king to e2, king to e7, d5, king to d7, rook to c6, h5, rook to f6, attacking the pawn, king to e7, d6 by Harrwitz, king to e8 by Morphy, e6, pawn takes pawn, rook takes on e6, king to f7, and Harrwitz played a beautiful move. He played d7, rook to a8 by Morphy, defending. If king takes rook, promoting a queen, it's over for black. So rook to d6 now by Harrwitz, and in this position, Harrwitz is threatening to push the pawn and promoting a queen. The only defense is king to e7. This is what happened in the game. Morphy played king to e7, defending and attacking the rook, but Harrwitz chops the pawn. Rook takes on g5, king takes on d7. Harrwitz has the one extra pawn, and this pawn on h5 is looking very vulnerable and defenseless. Rook to g5 by Harrwitz, defending by Morphy, king to f3, king to e6, king to g3, h4, king to g4, h3, g3 by Harrwitz, king to f6, and Harrwitz played rook to h5, and Paul Morphy resigned for the third time against Harrwitz, 3 times in a row. This was the lowest moment in the brief career of Paul Morphy. What a humiliating defeat for Paul Morphy. Harrwitz was making fun with Paul Morphy, and yet he was also defeating Morphy. Harrwitz was destroying Paul Morphy and his reputation. Morphy needs to do something before it gets too late. So in the official matches, Harrwitz is up with 2 points. Harrwitz is leading with 2 points. So of course Paul Morphy resigned, and let me show you the possible continuation. Rook to d8 and capturing the pawn. White has 2 extra pawns. You can't defend these 2 pawns. Sooner or later, White will promote a queen. Black needs to give up the rook maybe. It's over for black, for Paul Morphy. So this is the last position of the game. Second very interesting event has happened after this game. Let me also tell you that story. Also after defeating Paul Morphy for the second time. In this official match, Harrwitz continued to make fun with Paul Morphy, continued to humiliate Morphy disrespectfully. After defeating Paul Morphy for the second time, Harrwitz said to a person named Edge, he was also a friend of Paul Morphy, who was witnessing this chess game. Harrwitz said to Edge, "Oh, it takes very little trouble to defeat this fellow." That's what Harrwitz said to Edge. And then he laughed like the evil man, like the villains in the movies. He was making fun with Paul Morphy again and again. So Edge went to the hotel of Paul Morphy. He met with Morphy and told Morphy what Harrwitz said to him. And also Edge added to Paul Morphy that those people who had placed bets favoring Morphy were becoming worried. Morphy replied, "How astonished all these men are going to be. Harrwitz will not win another game." That's what Paul Morphy promised. So I see you guys next time in Game 3 between Morphy and Harrwitz. Take care and bye-bye for now.